Thank you, Travis. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with news out of Brazil. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has highlighted some social and economic measures his administration implemented to address the COVID-19 pandemic and what he views as the politicization of the virus in the South America's largest country. During the United Nations General Assembly, Bolsonaro told the participants that from the beginning, in his country, he warned that two problems would have to be solved. Those are the virus and joblessness, and that both issues had to be addressed simultaneously and with some sense of responsibility. Mr. Bolsonaro further told fellow world leaders that segments of the Brazilian media had politicized the virus, showing panic among the population. He noted that under the mottos "stay at home" and "we will deal with the economy later on," which were peddled heavily in the media, social chaos almost befall the country. But his administration, in a bold step, put in place several economic measures that prevented a greater evil. Those policies included providing 65 million Brazilians with emergency relief totaling approximately $1,000 per person. The government also allocated more than $100 million for health-related actions and to help small businesses. Brazil also dedicated $400 million towards COVID-19 vaccine research, development, and production, among other measures. President Bolsonaro believes the pandemic has also provided a valuable lesson, namely that it is impossible to depend on just a few nations for the production of essential inputs and means of our survival. He added that Brazil is thus open for development of state-of-the-art technology, including 5G, artificial intelligence, but only with partners who respect the country's sovereignty and cherish freedom and data protection. And now a look at Barbados. The island nation of Barbados has pledged to put same-sex marriage to a public vote, but campaigners said on Wednesday they were weary about any hope of major reform in a nation that still has laws punishing sex between men on its books. LGBT people suffer discrimination, verbal abuse, and harassment in Barbados, where the Catholic Church and evangelistic groups are vocal in their opposition to giving legal rights to the gay and trans community. Supporters say. Barbados Governor General Sandra Mason said in a speech to Parliament this week that the Caribbean country would hold a public referendum on allowing same-sex marriage. Mason highlighted that her government will also do the right thing, understanding that this too will attract controversy and that the government would accept the result of the public vote. No date has been set as yet. And finally, our last story coming out of Venezuela. After defying U.S. sanctions by shipping a cargo of oil condensate to Venezuela just last week, Iran is using the same ship to help the Latin American country export its crude. The Iran-flagged supertanker Honey, also known as Horse, is leading Venezuela's top exported grade marine, 16 at Venezuela's government-controlled port of Jose, according to a shipping report. The shipments gave some respite to the nation's hobbled oil industry, as most ship owners avoid doing business with the countries for fear of sanctions. The vessel, which just discharged 2 million barrels of Iranian condensate, turned off its satellite signal to avoid detection after the U.S. was able to intercept 1 million barrels of gasoline going to Venezuela in August. The ship was discharging the contents in Venezuela last week, though ship tracking signals still show the ship off the coast of Dubai. Venezuela, owner of the world's largest oil reserves, has been struggling to find ships to risk sanctions after the Trump administration announced sanctions on 6 vessels and its ship owners for transporting its crude. The Treasury Department eventually removed the vessels from the sanctions list without making a formal explanation, but the U.S. has pursued foreign vessels carrying product to Venezuela around the world and seized more than 1 million barrels of gasoline while in transit. The cargo on board of the horse is expected to be sold in Asia, the main destination of Venezuelan crude. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is also weighing the purchase of Iranian missiles. Caracas has supplied gold as payment for the assistance. That's a wrap for tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Travis.